Welcome, everybody, to the Redzone Report, brought to you by the Built in Buffalo YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter streams. X streams. You can check us out on all those places, and we are brought to you by PLB Sports and Entertainment, the makers of Josh's Jacks, the JA17 line of coffee, and the Stefan Diggs 14 line of hot sauces. Please, everybody, enjoy the show. Woo! Go Bills! And happy Sunday to you too, Kim. It's my guy right there, Kim Boomhauer. Let's go. So, the Bills played yesterday, right? And again, this is the Red Zone Report on Built in Buffalo, brought to you by PLB Sports Entertainment. But heck yeah, yesterday we saw the Bills that we expected to see. The ones that showed up in Pittsburgh or didn't show up in Pittsburgh, however you want to, phrase that. The Bills yesterday against the Bears in Chicago did exactly what we expect them to do, and they showed up and they showed out. First team offense went out there, drove right down the field, drive hit with an exclamation point by Damian Harris in his first action, rocking that Bills blue. Well, it ain't white, but you get what I'm saying. Anyways, so the Bills went out there. They looked good. They won the game, which is far less important. But, yeah, I just was happy to see the Bills go out there and do what was needed to kind of quell the expectations of Bills Mafia, to kind of lower the heat that we fans have been putting on this team. We've been out here, and after that Steelers game, man, Bills fans were not happy at all. Very upset. Very upset. So we got some comments already from Sophia. Everyone go Bills. Heck yeah. Gang number 26. Okay. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Hello, Izzy. Hey, how you doing, Miss Nelson Sykes? This is the guy Izzy, and that's Lance's mom. For everybody who doesn't know, wonderful lady. My man Lance. What up, Iz? What up, baby? How you doing? Welcome to the show. We got some people out here. Let's go. Roy's in the building. Man, Jacob is in the building. Bobby Hall is in the building. Welcome back, everybody. Those who are usual suspects, those who may be new, welcome back. Now, if you're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, drop a like, drop a subscribe, and let's go into it. Now, the whole team looked pretty good this whole game. Whole team looked pretty good. And we'll start with the quarterbacks. Josh Allen went out there. He put up his numbers, did what he had to do, and he looked good doing it. You know what? He looked more like Josh Allen than he did against the Steelers. Josh Allen went out there. He was 5 of 7 for 49 yards. Didn't score a touchdown, but our wonderful new acquisition at running back, Damian Harris, went out there and he put that offense on the board. First drive, everybody else take a seat. We're done. We don't need to see any more. Josh was 5 of 7, which is around 75%. Kyler went out there. He was around 50%, 162 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He looked solid at times. He looked shaky at other times. It's expected. A new offense for him. The running game really came on this game. Darrington Evans with that beautiful touchdown that he ran in, where he took on like 4 tackles. And then the last one, he just kind of took that guy into the end zone with him. That was a nice little, I believe that was the 35-yard run he had. But Darrington Evans went out there and he's trying to make the team. I'm not saying that he's going to make the team, but I think he's going to make himself a practice squad priority. Ty Johnson had 11 carries, 51 yards. That's about 4.7 per carry. So, yeah, I like Ty Johnson's performance. Damon Harris did his thing. And then, he played after the starters at quarterback and Stephon Diggs came off the field, but he didn't play too much after. He only had 7 carries. James Cook, 5 for 23. Looked like he was supposed to look. Kyle Allen even had a couple of runs, and he averaged about 4.5 yards per carry with 2 carries for 9 yards. I believe that's exactly 4.5. So if my simple math is doing its thing, then, the team did what they were supposed to do, and they look good doing it. I'm going to go back to some of these comments here. Hello from Germany. Go Bills. Guten Tag. I don't sprechen Sie Deutsch, but, I dabble a little bit. I was in the military, and I had a couple stops in Germany on my way to deployment and on my way back from there. So stopped in Leipzig, Ramstein. So, yeah, welcome to the channel from, North Carolina where I live, and originally from Rochester, New York. So just a little background on me if you haven't seen it, Mr. Dera. See, we need a finisher. The finisher like Damon Harris, because that man was out there to finish that drive. See, I liked that we could legitimately run it up the middle with our new O-line. Yes, our tackles may not have looked the best against the Steelers, and our guards looked good. Our guards looked really good against the Bears, and our tackles looked improved against the Bears. They're not the Steelers. They don't have T.J. Watt out there, but still a solid D-line for the Bears. Not great, but solid. Probably middle of the pack, maybe bottom of the middle of the pack. But, yeah, we went out there and we ran the ball. We threw the ball well. The Bears have some promising young players. A young cornerback who intercepted Kyle Allen, second-round pick. They got some talent that needs some developing, but the Bears may come along eventually. But, the Bears are not my concern. I don't care about the Bears. Good luck for them. I swore I saw you here in Florida. Look, I got a lot of people look like me in Florida. I'm Puerto Rican, right? So that means I look like every Cuban, Dominican, and Puerto Rican is out there, and some Mexicans too. So if you're in Cuba, or excuse me, in Florida, depends on where you were as to what they were, I guess, nationality-wise. But, yeah, I get that a lot. I get that, like, every day. Like, you look like my buddy Gabe, or you look like my buddy, Jimmy, or, like, Jesus. Like, I look like everybody. So, yeah, I appreciate it. But I have not been in Florida recently. It's been 5 or 6 years since I've been in Florida. And usually I'm in Orlando or Miami, but my mom moved from Miami to Port Charlotte to be with my grandmother. So Florida is not a destination I go to very often. But when I do, I go see mom. See, Dame was what we needed. Yes. Can't wait to come back to Florida. Look, Florida's nice. It's nice to go to Florida every now and then. Like to visit. Wouldn't want to live there, but, again, nice to visit. See, it was a little bit of making the team if Shakir's rib put him on IR. It could be the pup. If he gets put on a pup, then it also still frees up a slot. So it doesn't have to be IR. Could be the pup. Kyle Allen was a dumpster fire. He didn't look like a dumpster fire yesterday, but he didn't look great either. But, we'll see. How is Vietnam tonight? It's storming, actually. I'm glad I have internet right now, because if not, then this wouldn't be possible. But, hopefully it subsides. It was thundering a little earlier. We'll see. Same issues as always. O-line can stop the run. Oh, that would be D-line trying to stop the run. But, yeah, I understand what you're saying. We did pretty good against the run yesterday. The Bills against the run allowed, 107 on the ground? That's not bad. It's not bad at all. So, I'm not complaining about the run game. And there will be a couple of 53 players rosters. The initial after put some guys on injured reserve, and you will have some roster gymnastics, and we'll then get to a final 53. Yeah, so the 53 you see on Tuesday will not be the final 53. That's what I believe you're trying to say, Mark. The final 53 will be probably a little before the first game as they move people around, because now with the new rule, every team has to go from 90 to 53. And so when you're going from 90 to 53, that means everybody's hitting the free agent market at one time. It's going to be easier for the Bills to pluck somebody that they like when each team has to jettison 37 players. It's a lot of players. 37 times 32, it's a lot. And, take away the Bills, of course, that's 37 times 21. Still a lot. Benford has looked excellent, especially the Chicago game. He's CB2. I'm still waiting to see what they say at CB2. And could you shout out Spear Bills Talk? Spear Bills Talk, my buddy Jacob Spears. Check him out. He does a lot of shorts. He does some lives. I did a live with him. It was about 30 minutes. Check my guy out. All right, so going back to the team. Running backs looked solid, right? We know who our top three guys are as of right now, or so we think, right? I've heard whispers that people think that Latavius Murray may not make this team, and I don't agree with that. I think that Latavius Murray is going to be RB3. You'll see him out there, on the short distance yards. People tell me he gets tackled too easy. He may get tackled too easy, but he's still going to get you 3 yards if you need 3 yards. And that's just where I stand with Latavius Murray. Your third running back is not necessarily the guy that you're worried about making a big splash. You just need him to get you your 3 yards. That's all you need. It's 4th and 1. Latavius Murray goes in there, gets you your 2-3 yards. That's it. Damian Harris played well, and James Cook has been playing well. He didn't look so good against the Steelers. Again, that game, lightning in the bottle, tough to see. But, yeah, it's looking good at running back. Davis's struggle against press coverage is a concern to me. He doesn't play like a wide receiver that's 6'2" and isn't great at coming down with the ball in tight coverage. Sherfield plays physical, and I like that. That's why Sherfield is on this team. He's going to be that third receiver on the outside between Diggs and Davis. If somebody has to come off the field, you have Sherfield, and that's a thing. See, I want Mims as a backup for Cook. Mims is a guy who is that camp darling. He's that preseason darling that everybody loves. Every year you get that one guy. This year we had a couple of them. We had Mims. We had Andy Isabella, who didn't help his stock yesterday with the fumble. My man Akeem out here. Yes, sir. What's up, brother? What's up with you, man? Week 1, we got that post-game show. Let's go. Can't wait. My man Akeem and I will be working together during the regular season. Let's go, baby. But, yeah, no, running back, Darrington Evans, he did well. If you're going to drop Latavius Murray, I would see it for somebody like a Darrington Evans who also contributes on special teams. A guy like Darrington Evans who went out there and showed the heart. Maybe it was because he was playing the Bears and he used to be a Bear and they didn't believe in him. But you know what? So be it. He went out there and he put it out there. He put it on tape. And so I like Mims. Mims could be a practice squad guy. He could actually be a guy who winds up making the 53 if there's some injury. But as of right now, I see him as a practice squad guy. Him and Darrington Evans. If you're going to drop Latavius Murray, one of those two would be the guy to be RB3. But I see him keeping 4 running backs, including Gilliam. I know we have him as a tight end. He's kind of that tight end running back habit. So you'll keep 3 halfbacks, the fullback, and then you'll keep 3 tight ends. In my opinion, the 3 tight ends obviously are Knox, Kincaid, and Quentin Morris. Knox, Kincaid, and Quentin Morris are the obvious guys at running back. A tight end. Quentin Morris with that touchdown solidified himself to me. They already released Sternberger. That's the room. I always thought that would shake out that way. I thought Sternberger could come in here and give him some competition, but he didn't. And he was released subsequently. He'll probably end up, on someone's practice squad or potentially back in the USFL and XFL, where he can go and prove it again and try and earn another shot in the NFL. We'll see what happens with him. I liked him in the XFL or the USFL. I forget which one he was in this year. I think it was the USFL, where they won a championship with Magoo. I think that was USFL, Birmingham. We'll see what happens with him. Man, Walter says Murray ain't going anywhere. Hey, I don't think so either. I think that Murray's going to be the third RB. Already explained why. I'm with you there. A lot of people are down on him. I don't know why. Every single pass thrown his way this preseason, he's caught. He's gotten the yards. He's been taken down. He has an upright style that's easy to go after his legs. But if you're not, surprising him, he's going to get there. Last year, he put up 700 and something yards on 2 different teams. So, yeah, and that's total, not for each team. So let's quell expectations there. Wide receiver, we already know who the top, 4 or 5 guys are. It's Diggs, it's Davis, it's Sherfield. Hardy had a sighting yesterday. He looked good. And then after that, it's been, the question, who's going to be there? Is it going to be Shakir and shorter? Is it going to be Shakir and Isabella? Is it going to be shorter than Isabella? Shakir's hurt right now. He's nicked up. So, you could end up seeing Shakir being put on the PUP list. them keeping Schroeder and Isabella, and then waiting to see how those first 4 games go, where Shakir would have to sit out for those first 4 games. And, if Isabella and or Schroeder don't really show you anything, you could drop one of them and then bring Shakir onto the main roster. It's a real situation they're in. And the Bills have already made some cuts, including at wide receiver. They've cut 2 guys in Isaiah Coulter and Desmond Patton. I have the list pulled up. Buffalo Rumblings, what's his name? Mr. Matt Byam has the list. I'm going to refresh it just in case anything happened during the show so far. Tight end, Jay Sternberger has been released already. Garrett McGinn, Cortez Broughton, defensive tackle has been let go. Safety, Jared Madden, who didn't look great to me. He didn't. Desmond Patton looked solid, but this receiver room is so deep that, guys like that who would otherwise make the team did not. Linebacker Deshaun White did not make the team. He's off. And then Shane Ray was released from IR with an injury settlement. So we'll see what happens with him. He might find himself on the practice squad if no one else decides to pick him up. Roy Collins says, Murray is like the cars I had years ago, old but reliable. It's true. He's still got the speed. He's just a guy who, if something happens, or if you need to close out a game and don't want to put your top 2 backs out there, and you just want to let him run the clock out, he's a guy who can do that for you. Not every weapon has to be your main, cutting tool. He can just kill you by 1,000 cuts late in the game when your defense is tired and you want to put a manimal out there. You put him out there and you let him dominate. We like Murray when in the red zone. Every running back doesn't have to be a yards per carry guy. We need TDs, and that's what Murray gets you. I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. That is the perfect way to describe Latavius Murray. He goes out there and he gets you the hard yards, maybe a yard or 2, but if you're on the 1 and he gets you 1 or 2, you're in the end zone. He reminds me of Fred Jackson a little bit in the case where you may trip him up, but he's going to fall for 2 yards. He's going to fall for 2 yards. He's 6'3". So you grab him by the ankles, he's going forward 2 more yards. That's where he's going to drop. And so I like Murray for the fact that he is that guy. If you need those short yards, he's going to get you those short yards. Now, moving on to offensive line, where we have some injuries. We have some concerns. You look at left tackle, Deion Dawkins is healthy. He's doing his thing. He's going to be fine. If you look at right tackle, Spencer Brown looked much better when he's not playing TJ Watt. Osiris Torrance has looked good all offseason. They still haven't officially made him the starter, but he's the starter, and we know it. We know he's the starter. They need to go ahead and just stop playing around with our emotions and just deal with the fact that he is going to be their starting or guard. As of right now on ESPN, he is number 2 behind Ryan Bates. He has clearly outplayed Ryan Bates. So I think it's going to be Osiris Torrance. Mitch Morse, starting center. We know that. And left guard starter Connor McGovern was injured. He's got a tweak in his leg. He's probably going to miss week 1 potentially unless he gets better by then. But we have some solid backups in Ryan Bates and David Edwards. So we have depth there in the middle of the offensive line between Ryan Bates, David Edwards, Greg Manns, if he makes the team. Alec Anderson is another guy who's shown that he can play. He's been very versatile when it comes to playing different positions on the line. He played guard and tackle this past week. So he's a guy who could surprise you and make this roster over a Greg Manns because of his versatility. Ike Bodker, I don't see making the team. Ryan Vandemark is a guy who I like. He's been the second team left tackle for most of this offseason. He's been a surprise. And he could end up being the swing tackle. They played him a lot at right tackle this past game. He held his own. Wasn't great, wasn't terrible, just steady Eddie, which is an improvement over what he was weeks before. So give him more reps there, and we'll see. Richard Garage is likely going to be on the practice squad, and Tommy Doyle's on IR. So the other guys, Nick Broker and Ken Jarvis, I think Nick Broker will be released, set to hit waivers, and if he doesn't get claimed by anybody, we can see him on the practice squad. So the guys making the team on the offensive line: Deion Dawkins, McGovern, Morse, Torrance, Brown as the starters, Vandemark, Bates, Edwards, and I think Alec Anderson will be the guys that make the team. They make the roster. So that's the offense, folks. That's where I stand on the offense. We haven't gotten the defense yet. Jacob, slow down a little bit for me, buddy. Slow down. I don't have Questenberry making the 53. I don't think it's going to happen. Hey, Izzy, Josh Allen pocket presence was great this game. It was excellent. He looked very good navigating the pocket and delivering the ball. A couple of drops out there. One real one by Gabe Davis. He kind of went back to that Gator chomp catch, which is weird because he didn't play at University of Florida. He played at Central Florida. But, yeah, we'll see. See, I say they should cut Kyle Allen. I would rather have Uncle Rico. That's a very strong statement. I think that Kyle Allen is doing decent for a guy who's brand new to the scheme. I don't think he's doing good. But if Josh gets hurt, we're screwed anyway. So Kebby says, I'm just not sold on Elam. I'm not saying he isn't going to make the team. He's going to make the team. He's going to make the team next year, too. Kaiir Elam is a first-round pick. He's a press man corner. He's been stuck into a spot where he doesn't necessarily fit with the skills he was taught at Florida. And they're going to give him the first 3 years. And then if he doesn't pan out, they'll trade him after his third year. But he's got time. He looked good last year. He is flashing. I don't think Kaiir Elam is a guy who's on the bubble. And if he's CB4, then you're in good hands. Because last year he had interceptions on Patrick Mahomes, and I believe the other one was on Lamar Jackson, but I don't remember where the other one came from. So it is what it is. Mark says he's CB4 right now, and I agree with that. He is CB4 right now, but when he played last year, not practice and not in the preseason, in the regular season, he got better as the season went on. So I only expect him to continue to improve. The work ethic is there. The talent is there. Speed is there. Strength is there. He needs to work on not being so handsy. He needs to work on, getting the coverage scheme down. Outside of that, I like Kaiir Elam just fine. The Elam for starting right tackle, that's messed up. He's a corner. Come on now. All right, so moving to the defensive side of the ball. This is where things get very interesting because the defensive line has a lot of guys, and then there are guys on the defensive line who we know are going to make the team. The Greg Rousseaus, the Ed Olivers, Von Miller, Daquan Jones, Leonard Floyd. But then you got guys who you're not so sure. A.J. Epinesa, Boogie Basham, Shaq Lawson. Tim Settle is probably making his team. His cap hit is too high. Poona Ford came in, and he's been a little underwhelming. He's looked good at times. He's looked bad at times. But he's new to this defense, and we'll see where that goes. Jordan Phillips is still injured. Von Miller's still injured, so you'll see either one of them on the PUP list, maybe both of them, so they can keep other people. Guys like Cameron Klein and Kingsley Jonathan will be practice squad priorities, I believe. Eli Anku showed himself to be pretty good this preseason like he does usually. I didn't really notice much of Kendall Vickers, so I don't think he'll make the team. So a defensive end, I think, is going to be Rousseau, Von Miller, Epinesa, Floyd, and either Boogie or Shaq. Boogie could be traded. Shaq could be stashed in the practice squad. It's a tough one. It's a real tough toss-up there. But Boogie has showed himself to be better and more improved this, offseason, this preseason. They could be shopping him, but they also could be, measuring him to see if they want to keep him. He's price controlled for the next 2 years, this year, next year. So that's the thing. AJ Epinesa is going into his last year of his contract. I don't know if they'll be able to afford him if he has a breakout year, but if he does have a breakout year, that would help us potentially win a Super Bowl. So a lot of questions here. Defensive tackle, Ed Oliver, Daquan Jones, Tim Settle, I see making the team, Poona Ford. Yeah, I'll say Rousseau, Miller, Epinesa, Floyd, and Basham. And then you stash Shaq on the practice squad. No team's kicking down his door. Ed Oliver, Daquan Jones, Tim Settle, and Poona Ford will be the guys at defensive tackle for us. Now, if we look at linebacker, on ESPN, they have it broken down. Will, Mike, and Sam linebackers, the weak side linebackers, middle linebacker, and strong side linebacker. And there's a lot going on there. We do have a super chat, though. So let's see what's going on with that. Let's see. Underrated channel. Been watching for a while. I'll be at my very first Bills game, September 17th, flying out from LA. Keep up the good work, Izzy. Respect. Thank you very much, Jesus. you are very welcome to be here. Or Jesus from LA, good chance you could be Hispanic. So, Jesus, welcome and thank you for the super chat. We appreciate that here in Built in Buffalo. That all goes to helping us build this up. And yeah, we appreciate all of you very much. And of course, super chats do get priority. So if you drop one, I'm pulling up your chat. All right. AJ Epinesa did well against the Bears. See, the defense did decent yesterday. They actually played very well yesterday. They had some plays they gave up, but for the most part, the guys that you really care about played very well. I thought Floyd was a backup. He is a backup. Well, he could potentially be a starter with Von Miller out. It could be Rousseau and Floyd. It could be Rousseau and Epinesa. Depends on what they do. None of us really know what they're going to do there, but my opinion is starting week 1 is probably going to be Floyd and Groot if Von Miller's not ready to go, which I think he'll probably put him on PUP. So in my opinion, the only way Boogie or Epinesa don't make the team is if they're traded. They absolutely would not be cut. I agree with that. I think that they'll be looking to trade one of them, and a team may get their pick of which one they want. I don't think they're very different on either one of them. This is the first time I had a chance to hear your show. I love your knowledgeable commentary, and I am pleased to subscribe to enjoy future shows. My best wishes for you continued success. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Very well, placed comment. I appreciate your compliments, and I appreciate your subscription to the show. Check us out throughout the week. It's not just me here. A bunch of guys. They have good content. And, a lot of us are energetic. I'm pretty energetic, I think. So, if you enjoy my enthusiasm, I appreciate that. So, no Jordan Phillips, Izzy? Interesting. Jordan Phillips is still injured. Didn't see him this preseason. He's usually injured. They may try and stash him on the practice squad, but I'm not sure if he makes the main roster because he's the cheapest one, and they could save money cutting him. They won't save money cutting Tim Settle. Tim Settle's contract this year is pretty much guaranteed. If they cut him, they take a $5 million cap hit. Why would you cut somebody and pay them not to play when you need cap money? Thoughts on our offensive line? Our offensive line, I think, is much improved. Just, again, letting go of Roger Saffold and bringing in Connor McGovern and David Edwards to back up. David Edwards is potentially a starting offensive guard somewhere else in the NFL, but he's here where we have depth now. We had no depth at the position last year. We have plenty this year. Jesus, I am in section 308 and flying from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Looking forward to hearing back from you. Hey, you guys go ahead and meet up at the game, hang out, and enjoy some of that tailgating. Let's go. Hoyer and Hyde back together? Absolutely. Love it. Jordan Phillips played the last game. Did he? Because I did not notice him. So if he did play, ESPN needs to correct their stuff, though, because they have him as injured still. Yeah, they have him as questionable. But, yeah, if he did play, I did not notice him, T. I appreciate you letting me know. But that's how I see the defensive line shaking out. Now, linebacker is easier at the top and not so easy at the bottom. Matt Milano, Dorian Williams are making the team. Tyrell Dodson is probably making the team. He looked much better yesterday than he did before that. But A.J. Klein has outshined him at middle linebacker. Baylon Spector's injured. Tyler Matakevich is probably making his team as a special teams guy. Trevin Howard not making the team. So it's going to be, in my opinion, Milano, Dorian Williams, Tyrell Dodson, Terrell Bernard, Tyler Matakevich, and A.J. Klein. Baylon Spector, I think, will probably be cut and put on the practice squad, and Trevin Howard will just be cut. So that was easy for me. 6 linebackers, donezo. Cornerback. We have 3 starting cornerbacks, basically, because our slot guy generally starts, and that's freaking Taron Johnson, who I almost always forget to mention whenever I'm talking about corners. But he's making the team. He's one of the best slots in the NFL. Tre'Davious White and Dane Jackson are probably going to be on the team as cornerback 1 and 2. You could see Kyer Elam get the nod at cornerback 1. That wouldn't be surprising because of the high draft pick is spent on him. But Dane Jackson has won the preseason. I don't know what that's worth, though. Sometimes you'll think somebody's won a job and then they don't get the job. But corners that'll make it, the top 5 that are going to make the team are Tre'Davious White, Taron Johnson, Dane Jackson, Kyer Elam, and Christian Benford. You could see another guy like Cam Lewis, who plays corner and safety and special teams, make the team. Safeties, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Taylor Rapp are locks to make this team. Dean Marlowe, sorry, buddy, I don't see you making this team. Zane Anderson, I don't see you making this team. Maybe the practice squad. DeMar Hamlin is definitely making this team. They cannot afford the backlash that would come from a guy who played well in the preseason, almost died for us on the field last year. His story, there's no way he doesn't make the team. No way he doesn't make the team. Taylor Rapp could be that hybrid slot corner guy that you keep if you don't want to keep another guy. But the 10 DBs I see him keeping are Tre'Davious White, Taron Johnson, Cam Lewis, Dane Jackson, Kyler Elam, Christian Benford, Poyer Hyde, Rapp, and Hamlin. And that's where I see the safety / corners going. All right. Saran Neal is Taron's backup. That's very true. He could be the guy who takes the spot and not Cam Lewis. Both him and Cam Lewis have had pretty good preseasons. Seeing where they go is going to be a tough watch. It's going to, because right now on ESPN's website they have Saran Neal as the last corner, but he is also a 4-phase special teams guy. He could play corner and safety as well, so that's going to be a tough one. So yeah, that last spot is going to be either Taron or Saran, or not Taron, Saran or Cam Lewis is going to be the last DB on the roster. Tough decisions to make indeed. You could even see them go with 5 linebackers if they don't want to keep Tyler Matakevich. He's been fighting some injuries this year too. Let's see. Tyler Matakevich. I think he's healthy now. He was on PUP for a while. He may still be on PUP. I'm not sure. Their website is not exactly clear on that. Kicker, punter, long snapper. We already know it's going to be Reed Ferguson, Tyler Bass, Sam Martin. As of right now, Deontay Hardy is penciled in as the starting return man. But things could change if they keep Isabella over Shorter or Khalil Shakir, where then you have Hardy focus more on the offense and Isabella being your return man. He did have that fumble, which could really, have him on the outside looking in, and as a practice squad veteran. Torrance starting, you can book it. I agree. I already said I think Osiris Torrance is going to be our starting right guard. I think that Osiris Torrance is a guy who makes his roster, and he does it easily. Of course, he was our second-round pick. Of course, he's shined in the preseason. Of course, he's been playing with the ones and practicing with the ones. I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to be the starting right guard, barring some kind of crazy stuff. Izzy, I'm hoping a solid quality inside linebacker is available at the 32nd pick next year, but that's after we raise the Lombardi. Plus, do you see Dorian Williams as a future middle linebacker? I'm not sure if he's a future middle linebacker. He could be a guy who sits on his roster for a couple of years and backs up Milano and then takes over from Milano once Milano retires. He could be a guy, though, in the future, once he gets the defense down pat, next year, the year after, where he takes over at middle linebacker. He's going to have to earn that spot, though. They're not giving it to him. He's going to have to earn it just like everybody else. And so we'll see. I think it's possible. I mean, if he's going to win it, he could win it in the middle of the season. He just hasn't had enough time on task in order to go out there and win it. They're not comfortable yet with him calling the defense. See, Greg was cut today, I think. Greg who? You got to be more specific, boss. So you don't quite understand why they keep 6 linebackers every year when there's only 2 on the field. Here's why. Someone gets hurt. If you only have 5, you're down to 4. Right? And one of those 4 is Matakevich. Do you trust him to play or start? I don't. He's a special teams guy. And so you'll have 5 linebackers that are just linebackers, just like you'll have 5 wide receivers that are just wide receivers, right? You'll have 5 corners that are just corners. You'll have, 4 safeties that are just safeties. Same idea, same principle with just about every position on the field. You're going to have one of those last spots be somebody who can play special teams. And that's tough. Can you see the Bills trading for Jonathan Taylor? This is wishful thinking, in my opinion. Jonathan Taylor is going to come with a significant contract that we're going to have to pay him. Right? Now, his contract currently is not significant, but he wants to be paid. He's going to find that running back market is not what he's hoping it to be. Even though he is a top running back, he just come off of a bad injury. Last year it was a down year for him because of injury. And They could do it, but he's going to have to be more realistic on his expectations for a contract. You know, he's got what 2 more years on his contract if you include his um, if you include his injuries, if you include the pay he's going to go with, he's going to be a guy who's going to have to just expect to be paid less. Running back market's not getting paid. Josh Jacobs just signed his extension for a year where he drops the salary, the franchise tag. He got $12 million. He basically got the same thing that Saquon Barkley got, $12 million for 1 year. And that's how people are doing those really good running backs now. Saquon Barkley got that. Now Josh Jacobs got it. Jonathan Taylor coming off the injury, I'm not sure if anybody's paying that price. His market's going to be significantly decreased because of the injuries and because of, the fact that he wants to be paid. So there's not going to be so many teams interested to trade for him. Somebody like the Dolphins may do it and then pay him because, they're desperate for, another weapon for Tua. A guy who can go out there in pass pro and block better for Tua. A guy who's fast and elite at the position. But I just don't know if I see somebody paying a first-round pick or anything close to it for him. And then giving him that contract extension. To me, that's unrealistic, especially for a guy just coming off an injury. So I've beaten that dead horse already now. I don't see it happening. Unless he lowers his expectation and just wants to win a Super Bowl. If that's his decision, then fine. Outside of that, no. And I don't see us getting the first or second round pick for him. Can we re-sign Josh for 10 years? So Josh is starting the first year of his extension. So this is his first year getting the big bucks. Granted, his cap hit this year is low because they restructured him. He's not getting an extension probably for another year or two. They could, seek to do that then. But I don't see it happening anytime soon. And if they do, it'll be another 5-year extension to add to the 5-year extension he's currently on. I hope the Bills do a trade or something before the season starts, preferably O-line or trade a player to get some more draft capital. Next year we have 10 draft picks. I could see us doing it, because Bean likes to move picks. He likes to move up in the draft. I haven't seen him move back in the draft yet. All the movement I see, in the early rounds is moving up. To go get Josh Allen, we moved from 12 to 7. So, to go get Tremaine Evans, we moved from 22 to 16. To go get freaking Dalton Kincaid, we moved up. To get Kyrie Elam, we moved up. He doesn't move back early on in the draft. He moves up. So you could see him trade somebody to get another draft pick that they can use to trade. I can see them looking to get an offensive lineman like a tackle. The interior offensive line to me is set. So it's important. Yes, more size on O-line. I don't know if we need more size. Like Osiris Torrance is huge. Deion Dawkins is huge. Possible. I mean, it's very possible. If they want to switch to a power type scheme, it could very well happen. Yesterday's game, I think was, it's a preseason game. I don't want to get too high on it, just like I didn't want to get too low on the Steelers game. The Bills are a team that is bound to win a bunch of games this year. How many of that is up to them? It's up to them and how their schedule pans out for them. Camera moved a little bit, I guess. There we go. It's really going to be a fight this year. We have very tough stretch in the middle of the season. If I'm honest. First game of the year against the Jets is going to be a toughie. 8-15, September 11th. We're going to see when the Bills offense goes up against that vaunted Jets defense, and believe me, that Jets defense is formidable. And now they have Aaron Rodgers. We're going to see how good he looks, which Aaron Rodgers is going to show up. That game to me is a toss-up. I see it being a 4-point game, 24 to 20 Bills, but you never know. That could be 24-20 Jets. Again, we'll see. Aaron Rodgers has a bunch of familiar weapons, and he's also really looks like he's building a nice rapport with Garrett Wilson. So his offensive line is going to be the biggest question, and if they're going to be able to stop, the Epinesa, Boogie Basham, if he's on the team, if either one of them is on the team, Greg Rousseau, Leonard Floyd, or if, by some miracle Von Miller is ready for week 1. That's going to be a real big factor in that. The Raiders, I think we crushed the Raiders. I can look past them. The team can't. That's the rules. Washington, we crushed them. We play Miami in Buffalo. You know, I think we beat the Dolphins. Their offensive line always injured too with Teron Armstead. Their defense is improved if Jalen Ramsey was there, but he's out until December, so wrap that up. Jacksonville in Tottenham is going to be a tough one. You know, the Giants, they're going to be a tough one. Dable knows how we play. He's very familiar with how we play offense, so he's going to be able to give insights to the defense of that team. But the defense he's not going to be as familiar with because now Sean is going to be calling the defense. It's going to be a lot to look at. See, we have a tougher schedule than years past, I think. No, for sure we do. For sure this schedule is much more difficult. But if we can win, I'd say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If we can win 6 of our first 8 games, we'll be in good shape. From the Jets and the Dolphins are the toughest tasks, and Jacksonville the toughest task the first 8 weeks. We can come out with 6 wins there. I'd feel fairly comfortable. I think we'll come out with 7. I think we beat the Jets, the Raiders, the Commanders. I think we beat the Dolphins. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars will beat us in Tottenham. They play 2 games in a row there, so they'll be in Europe already ready to go. The Giants, I think we beat them. We beat New England. We beat Tampa. Then the buzzsaw starts. Right, we play Cincinnati in Cincinnati. Tough game. They've lost a lot of players on defense. They've lost both their safeties. The Bills are going to have to go up against that. I'll probably give a roster prediction next weekend. Probably a short show because I'll be out of town. And so it might be a recording. So, guys, please tune into that still. Denver is a mystery, but I don't see them really improving that much year 1 with Sean Payton. I just don't. People are like really high on them, but I'm really not. We'll see what the Broncos look like. Let's see. All AFC East team O-lines are bigger concerns than ours is. I agree with that, except for the Patriots. Their offensive line is the one offensive line that looks better than ours. Outside of that, you are correct. The Jets and Dolphins offensive lines don't look as good as ours. Hey, Izzy, have a good evening, and go Bills. Agree on Taylor take. Hey, away schedule is really tough, but good test for us. I agree. We want to make sure that we have a team that's fought their way there. See, Sean had John Butler call defense yesterday. I saw that. And so I heard that Sean McDermott wasn't calling the defense, and I thought it was going to be Bobby Babich or Eric Washington calling it. But him having his defensive backs coach and John Butler do it was eye-opening, and the defense looked good. So my hat's off to John Butler. Good for him. See, can you please have a guy from Bills Consolidated come on with you? I cannot remember his name. So his name is Matthew Manzella, BNC. I'm actually a part of his group, and he and I are Facebook friends. I'm not sure. We haven't talked a lot, if at all, but I wouldn't mind having Matthew Manzella on one of these weeks. That would be a week that we either have a bye week, probably, because Akeem Richards will be my post-game show guy. But if there's a week where Akeem can't make it or where I can't make it, Akeem could very well, reach out to him too. I do like him. He does mispronounce some names on occasion, which is fine. Doesn't bother me too much. I have one of those names that people mispronounce all the time, so it's kind of one of those things that I notice. But outside of that, he's fairly sharp. He's fairly sharp. I like Matthew Manzella. I think he's good for the community. Very good for the community. So I think Bills win between 10 to 12 games this season. I think that will be the case for most playoff teams in the AFC. Right? Yeah, because we all play each other this year. We played the Chiefs, the Bengals, then we played the Dolphins, and we play the Patriots. Are going to be a solid team. I say they win 8 to 9 games, maybe 10, if depending on how some other teams shake out with injuries. This division is going to be kind of close, in the middle. I think middle and the end. And so, yeah, I think 12 games is kind of my middle ground. I'd say we win between 11 and 14, but I think 12 is the spot. I think 5 losses are. They wouldn't disappoint me if they lost 5. We got some teams. We really have some teams that we're playing. And again, back to that second half or that next part of the season after the first 8 games, second half we'll say, Cincinnati is a game that we could lose. I see us playing better against them this year now that they don't have freaking Number 30, Jesse Bates. They don't have Von Bell. Eli Apple fit their scheme. He's not exactly a good corner. He's going to get toasted with the Dolphins. He's not going to fit that scheme as well as he did in Cincinnati. So I can't wait to burn him twice a year. Denver, I don't see it. Playing the Jets in Buffalo. I think we beat them in New York. Then we beat them again in Buffalo. Philadelphia, that's a team that we could lose to. That's a tough one. I could see that being a loss. Kansas City, another one. This is where the gauntlet really starts, right? Because we play the Bengals and we have the Broncos and the Jets. Less stressful for me than the Bengals. But then we got Philly, Kansas City, and Dallas. And all three of those games are losable. They're also all winnable. Philadelphia lost some defenders this past season, but they also drafted some guys, and they keep drafting these Georgia boys. Tough guys. The Chiefs, their number one receiver this year is, I believe, Valdez Scantling. Doesn't exactly speak volumes to me. Sky Moore's there. They lost Mecole Hardman. I'm less afraid of their weapons, but they still have Patrick Mahomes behind center, and he's made bums look like, starting caliber guys. We'll see. After the Chiefs game is the Cowboys game. The Cowboys are up and down. They're up and down. It's a Sunday game in December. It'll be in Buffalo, so the Cowboys are going to have to come to the cold. I see the Bills winning that game. Then we go to L.A. That's a tough one because it's in L.A., right? So heading out to there, it'll be warm, but it's also in a dome, so who cares? Teams going across the coast usually have a hard time, and I like the Chargers, but I don't like them that much. The Patriots, again, we see them in Buffalo in December. We've beaten the Patriots twice, the last 2 years. I see it happening again. And then Miami in December, or in January, excuse me. I see us beating the Dolphins. That would be the game where Jalen Ramsey's back. I'm not scared of Jalen Ramsey. Just not. And so if the status quo remains the way it is, I see us sweeping the division. I see us sweeping the division. So it is what it is. We'll see what happens. What else we got going on here? Let me see if there's any updates on roster cuts. So I haven't seen the Greg Mance thing. One of you guys said something about Greg Mance already getting cut. I have not seen that yet anywhere, so we'll see what happens. See, Rodgers never won in Buffalo. No, he hasn't. He's gotten his butt kicked every time he comes to Buffalo, but he has beaten us in his home stadium. And one time he beat us pretty bad in his home stadium. However, this is his first year with the Jets, and their offensive line is not good. So we'll see what happens there. Elijah Vera-Tucker should be back, but maybe he won't be. Mekhi Becton, always hurt. That guy can't catch a break. I feel so bad for that guy. He's so big, and he's got so much potential, but he just gets hurt so damn much that his stock is just falling because he's unavailable. And the best ability is availability, as we all know. Then you look at I don't even know who their right tackle is. I can look at the Jets, but I don't care enough to do so. I think the Bills are going to handle them. Our offensive line is going to have to hold up for a few seconds, and Josh is going to have to, use quick throws. He's going to have to pay attention to where Sauce Gardner is at all times. DJ Reed was a good surprise, for them last year, but I think that we should definitely have some openings around the field, especially with the acquisitions of Hardy and Sherfield. They should help quite a bit when it comes to playing against the Jets' skilled secondary. But yeah, I think it'll be a low-scoring game, and I think we should beat them both times. And so that's just where I'm at with that. Sweep the division. That's 6 games off the top, and then I think there are 6 more games out there that we should fairly easily win. Could lose one of those. Every team loses a game that they should not lose. Well, I can't say every team because the Patriots went undefeated one year. They did lose to a team they should have beat. They lost in the Super Bowl. But, yeah. Josh may have to screen more. We saw screens this preseason. James Cook had a nice little screen this last game. So, yeah, I think so. What would you give to get Taylor? I would give up a 3rd-round pick and Latavius Murray or Damian Harris. I'd give up Damian Harris. So if they take Damian Harris in a 3rd-round pick, there you go. That's about as high as I would go. Or a 2nd-round pick straight up. That would be it. And they already know our second round pick is basically a third round pick. So, yeah, it's not a lot. There's a running back coming off an injury who wants to get paid. And the Bills, from what we've seen, don't pay running backs. Love from India. Let's go, Bills. Welcome to the show. We got our first person from India, I believe, on the show that's actually in India. I'm sure we've had other Indian, fans jump in here, but yeah, I appreciate that. Before you end the podcast, Izzy, I need to know what is the best Puerto Rican restaurant in Buffalo when I go out there next month. Honestly, I don't know because I'm not from Buffalo. I'm from Rochester. So if you were going to Rochester, I would say El Pilon is a good spot to go to. Also, I don't go to a lot of restaurants that are Puerto Rican there because my family's cooking when I go back home. So in Rochester is El Pilon Criollo. That's a good spot. It's kind of in a bad neighborhood, but if you're not doing anything wrong, then you're probably not going to be someone they pay too much attention to. They close kind of early. It's kind of like they make all their food, and then when it's gone, it's gone. But yeah, there's in Buffalo, you'd have to ask somebody like Lance. He might know. Sauce God might know. One of our other guys will be able to tell you better than me because I'm not from Buffalo. I never lived in Buffalo. I was born and raised in Rochester, joined the Army, and haven't been to a Spanish spot in Buffalo. Lyle Avenue. I actually lived right off Lyle Avenue in Gates. Still a Rochester zip code, 14606. Let's go, Gates Child Spartans. But Lyle Avenue, I was right across from Steve T's, Nick Tahoe's before. And when it wasn't wrestling season, garbage plates were flowing. Getting fat, baby. Let's go. But everybody, I appreciate all the comments, super chats. I think there was one or two. I'm just gonna go up and verify that I didn't miss a super chat because that is not it. Here we go. Jesus put one up. Yes, sir. I'm Puerto Rican like you, brother. There we go. Puerto Rican from LA, unless you're from Rochester, Buffalo, or New York or Florida, and then just moved out there. But yeah, great show. Thank you very much, Jacob. That's my buddy right there. All right, everybody. You all have a blessed evening. Enjoy this week. Cut down on Tuesday. And the Buffalo Blitz should be live on Tuesday at 7. I'm 99% sure, unless something happens where one of them can't make it. And if one of them can't, I'll freaking be there if I need to be. But 7 p.m. Tuesday, discussing the first cut of the team from 90 down to 53 should be Peter DiBiase and Lance, the Mafia Montage Nelson. Check them out on Tuesday. Originally from New York City. Let's go. Sit down on Thursday, 7 p.m. Yes, sir. You know the schedule. 27-21 Bills. I like that score. I like that better than my score. But guys, you have a blessed rest of your day. God bless you and go freaking Bills.